Tank's been saying that he wants you, things like that. Does that stuff just sound crazy, or just like I'm supposed to be called out?
When you look at all the great fighters, they was getting called out by everybody from different weight classes. So it's nothing, that I'm not surprised about.
But Tank would be something that he said he'll touch your chin and.
Man, everybody say, what they'll do, but Tank is in his weight class for a reason, and I don't see him come up to 147 to face me no time soon.
Terence "Bud" Crawford has sent a brutal warning to Gervonta "Tank" Davis on Live. Both fighters ignited a fiery social media showdown, exchanging sharp verbal blows over their careers and bank balances in a no-holds-barred war of words. The tension between Davis and Crawford ignited when Crawford appeared to respond to Davis's frustration over being snubbed from the Ring Awards, an annual event honoring boxing's standout moments, on social media. "I see somebody mad they wasn't invited to the Ring magazine gala," Crawford wrote in a post on X, adding a laughing emoji to add insult to injury. Although Crawford mentioned that he hadn't received an invite to the Ring Awards, Davis didn't take his humor lightly. The rising star fired back, asserting that he generates more revenue than the former undisputed champion. "And I still make more than you," the Baltimore native wrote in a post of his own.
"If we was to fight right now on the streets, I'll break your neck. And that's on my kids. And you know it, I know it, and the whole world know it. And I'm not talking about no fighting in the ring. If me and you was to fight outside, I will break your neck."
Davis pushed back against the widespread belief among pundits and fans that Crawford is chasing history by calling out multi-division champion Canelo Alvarez. Instead, he questioned the narrative surrounding the high-stakes bout, which is set to deliver the biggest payday of Bud's career. "Y'all think he chasing greatness. He's not. That's what he have to do to make decent money." "Boys," the lightweight champion said of Crawford. Crawford fired back, calling Davis' attempt to downplay his wealth dumb, given that both are multimillionaires enjoying lavish lifestyles. He also suggested that while Davis's fortune might shrink over time, his own would only expand, thanks to smart investments securing his financial future. He wrote, "First thing a dumb rich person say to another rich person is, 'I got more money than you. I bet you I own more investments than you, and I don't owe $1 in taxes. You can't buy nothing I can't buy that I want, and that's a fact. Let's see who money lasts the longest, smart guy." Tank dismissed the idea that Crawford's earnings even come close to his own, taking the opportunity to throw some shade at the Nebraska native in the process. "On my mama you don't, bitch-ass boy," he fired back, unleashing a string of posts that belittled the super welterweight champion's financial standing while asserting his own dominance. Davis added, "And this is what happens when it never had shit. They start talking crazy, nigga. If you didn't know, they were calling me before you and still calling, and you're still in the same position, eater. You still gotta do as you're told." Unfazed, Bud fired back, asserting that his typical fight purse surpasses Davis's, except for the knockout artist's blockbuster 2023 showdown with Ryan Garcia. He wrote, "By the way, little guy, don't speak too son because you definitely not making more than me fight who's been fighting. That's why you talking about fighting Ryan again." ESPN boxing reporter Mike Coppinger backed Crawford's assertion, revealing that Crawford earned more from his fights against Israel Madrimov and Errol Spence than Davis did in 3 of his last 4 bouts. Outside of the Ryan Garcia fight, Terence Crawford has earned multiples more than Gervonta Davis for his bouts with Madrimov and Spence, compared to Tank's bouts with Frank Martin, Hector Luis Garcia, and the upcoming bout with Roach, Coppinger wrote, adding more validity to Crawford's boast. Nevertheless, neither Coppinger nor Crawford asserted or verified that Bud's wealth surpasses Tank's, but it appears that Crawford has never been one to back down from a challenge. True to form, he's been trading verbal jabs with Gervonta Davis over the past few days. While the exchange has stirred excitement, a showdown between them remains highly unlikely, especially since Crawford has previously extended an offer to fight Davis, only for it to go unanswered. The drama ignited when Davis, feeling slighted, voiced his frustration over being snubbed from the recent Ring Magazine Awards. Sensing an opportunity, Crawford prodded him, and what started as a minor jab quickly spiraled into a full-blown heated exchange. Fans have learned that intense exchanges on social media seldom lead to actual bouts. Tank is simply talking because he knows the fight won't materialize. He had an opportunity to make it happen in 2024 when Crawford proposed a welterweight showdown during an interview on Sway's Universe. He said, "Yeah, if he wants to dare to be great, if he like all the other fighters moving up 2 weight classes and daring to be great, tell him to come up there. He said I got a glass chin, so tell him to come touch it at 147. I'd make 147 for him. Bud seems to be preparing for a clash with unified super middleweight champion Saul Canelo Alvarez, a bout he's been chasing for more than a year. A victory here would cement Crawford's legacy as one of the sport's all-time greats. With the financial backing of Chairman Turki Alalshik making significant strides, the negotiations appear to be gaining momentum. It's hard to imagine Bud starting out at super middleweight and then slimming down to welterweight. Regardless of how this rivalry plays out, it's almost guaranteed that more twists and turns are in store. What started as playful banter soon spiraled into a heated exchange. The online clash between Terence Crawford and Gervonta Davis took a sharp turn when the lightweight champion began targeting the light middleweight champion's family. Though their relationship had always been strained, many fans felt this new confrontation had gone too far. The tension ignited when Davis, angered by his exclusion from the prestigious Ring Awards, unleashed a series of rants on social media.
How you feel about that fight? Is it even possible at a catchweight?
There ain't no catchweight. You come up to 47.
You're not even entertaining a catchweight.
No, I'm not.
He's a champ though too, undefeated.
And what champ? Come on, man. Tell me what belt. You know boxing. You forgot Devin Haney is undisputed. Devin Haney got all the belts. He the champ. Nobody else the champ. I'm gonna come up here where the big boys at.
All right,
I'll welcome him.
His words quickly drew the ire of Crawford, who fired back with a sharp retort. What started as a simple exchange quickly escalated into a fiery clash over money, with each fighter asserting they were the higher earner. The debate grew more intense, even attracting commentary from a handful of experts. But things took a sharp turn when Gervonta Davis made a biting comment about Bud Crawford's wife, crossing a line that seemed impossible to mend. In contrast, Crawford, the more experienced of the pair, chose to redirect the conversation, focusing on his personal growth and the positive changes in his life, taking a more composed and strategic stance. Terence Crawford gave thanks for the changes that have molded his life as he reflected on his own development. "I'm glad I'm not the man I once used to be. Growth is a blessing, because some people don't change when better days is right in front of them," he expressed in his latest post. The reference to Gervonta Davis might have been more obvious. However, a quick glance at some of the fan responses might indicate otherwise. Fans cautioned Crawford against taking Davis's remarks too seriously. Perhaps Crawford had been squandering time and effort on what might have been a futile rivalry. A little over a year ago, right after his victory over Errol Spence Jr., Crawford was met with a daring challenge from none other than Gervonta Davis. At the time, Davis, the lightweight champion, boldly stated that he was ready to take on the newly crowned undisputed champion. In his usual composed manner, Crawford accepted the challenge, though with one important condition. The ongoing disputes between Crawford and Davis may require some time to resolve. Boxing insider Rick Glazer weighed in on the issue, highlighting Gervonta Davis's disrespectful remarks about Terence Crawford's family, labeling them as classless in his tweets. "Very low by Tank Davis, bringing Terence Crawford's family into it. You never ever bring family into it. Ever. Classless move," noted the insider emphatically. The same sentiment was also reflected in fan comments on Crawford's latest post. Although Tank Davis exudes confidence, the odds of a fight between these two boxing powerhouses remain slim. Aside from the notable weight disparity, their respective career trajectories further diminish the likelihood of such a match. Davis has alluded to retirement by the year's end, while Crawford seems focused on a potential bout with Canelo Alvarez in the near future. No matter their legacies or the fortunes they've accumulated, the reality is that Gervonta Davis and Terence Crawford hold a special place in the hearts of fans. These future Hall of Famers have already secured remarkable accomplishments in their careers, and the petty online disputes only serve to damage their hard-earned reputations. Perhaps, as some have proposed, it's time for both to let go of the past and move forward. For a brief moment, some grew concerned as the beef crossed personal boundaries. However, the online clash between Terence Crawford and Gervonta Davis fortunately transitioned into a more abstract realm, the realm of money. It's been a while since the two champions have been trading jabs, yet their rivalry isn't exactly a fresh development. The latest clash erupted after Davis lashed out about being excluded from the prestigious Ring Awards. The event, which brought together the elite of boxing in London, was missing a few notable names, including Davis. In a jab aimed at the lightweight champion, Crawford taunted him, a remark that didn't sit well with the Baltimore native. In response, Davis unnecessarily dragged Crawford's family into the drama. What followed was a heated debate over who had earned more over the years. So, we figured we'd dive in and see who's ahead when it comes to stacking up the cash. Before we dive into the financial aspect, it's important to first evaluate the current status of the two champions. Gervonta Davis, the younger of the pair, launched his professional boxing career in 2013. Since then, he's stepped into the ring 30 times, maintaining an undefeated record. What truly distinguishes Davis is his exceptional knockout-to-win ratio, an impressive 93.33%, making him one of the sport's most powerful and feared punchers. After a year-long hiatus following his dominant triumph over Ryan Garcia in April 2023, Gervonta Davis made his return on June 15th to defend his WBA title against Frank Martin. The match ended in a powerful 8th-round knockout for Davis. Despite facing a few challenges, Davis now has a fight lined up for March 1st against Lamont Roach Jr.
My whole family is from DC. My whole family, like my entire family.
Don't bring them. Don't bring them.
For what?
Don't bring them. I'm telling you,
they gonna celebrate with me. Yeah,
don't bring them.
It's gonna be a party on your floor.
I'm gonna let y'all know something. His father was up here shaking on the what's the name? He was shaking on the
Pops.
On my kids, he was shaking on this thing. On my kids, he was shaking.
Don't
never.
say, bro.
That's cap. What I'm about to say?
How you gonna say it's cap? And
it gotta be.
You gonna say it's cap? I'm watching them.
Gotta be. Hey,
somebody lying.
Good.
Hey.
Yeah, somebody lying.
Hey.
Somebody lying.
Hey. I'm
okay,
glad my name is somebody.
In contrast, Terence Crawford embarked on his professional journey a few years before, debuting in 2008. Over the course of 41 bouts, he has yet to suffer a loss, sharing an undefeated record similar to Davis. Though not necessarily recognized for his knockout power, Crawford has firmly secured his place among the sport's elite, consistently ranking in the pound-for-pound listings. His exceptional boxing technique has garnered him immense respect, cementing his status as one of the world's premier fighters. In the past year, likely eyeing a marquee clash with Canelo Alvarez, Crawford stepped up a weight class to battle Israil Madrimov. Now, as the new year unfolds, whispers of a potential September bout with Alvarez are gaining momentum, a fight that could solidify his place in history. As a result, one champion may be on the verge of a historic match, while the other is gaining ground. Terence Crawford took to X to challenge Gervonta Davis, urging him to stop being scared and step up to face Shakur Stevenson and Keyshawn Davis. Given that both Stevenson and Keyshawn are Crawford's close allies, it's clear why he's calling out Tank Davis, pushing him to take on his friends in the ring. Keyshawn lacks a fan base and has underperformed in his bouts with Miguel Madueno and Nahir Albright. Tank won't be lending a hand to Crawford's training partner, Keyshawn. If Crawford hopes to elevate Keyshawn to stardom, he must first instill the courage needed to take on the formidable Andy Cruz. Tank Davis is claiming that Terence Crawford is more focused on chasing big paydays than pursuing true greatness in a bout with Canelo Alvarez in Saudi Arabia. For Crawford, this seems to be more about securing a comfortable retirement than enhancing his legacy. If he were truly driven by the desire to cement his place in history, he'd challenge himself at 168 before pleading for a fight. Crawford has explained to his fans that his decision to jump 2 weight classes and take on unified super middleweight champion Canelo is driven by a desire to solidify his legacy and achieve greatness. However, Davis views this move as primarily motivated by financial gain. Crawford said, "Gervonta, look, I got bigger fish to fry. Grow some balls and fight Shakur Stevenson or Keyshawn Davis, and stop being scared. That's probably why you ran your girl over and beat her ass, because you don't got no nuts, and she know it." Crawford relies on these strategies to earn, as selling is not an option for him. His most recent bout with Israil Madrimov is said to have generated only 75,000 to 100,000 pay-per-view buys, disappointing figures. Unlike Tank Davis, Crawford has never been a major PPV attraction. Keyshawn Davis, a lightweight contender, trains with Bud Crawford. Brian "Bo-Mac" McIntyre is their trainer. Tank won't take on a dull opponent like Shakur Stevenson because he's simply not appealing to fans and wouldn't add any value to the promotion. Gervonta is the one who would drive all the pay-per-view sales, while Shakur would just be a filler. Shakur's style fails to excite, and viewers aren't interested in watching him. Why Eddie Hearn signed Shakur and believes he can make him a global star is still a mystery to me. The United States is not experiencing that. Perhaps Hearn could elevate Shakur to stardom in the UK, where entertainment standards appear to be more relaxed. This could explain why figures like Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, Conor Benn, and Chris Eubank Jr. have achieved such fame across the pond. In the US, however, raw talent is a non-negotiable requirement for becoming a true star. The powerful puncher from Baltimore has previously claimed he could knock out Crawford, possibly in jest, but the heavier fighter has cautioned him not to aim beyond his reach. Although a showdown between them seems extremely improbable, some argue that the outcome wouldn't be so certain. During an interview with Real Life Productions, multi-division world champion Roy Jones Jr. commented, "That's one hell of a fight," suggesting it would be a tough contest if the two squared off just under the welterweight limit. He also gave Tank a solid shot at victory, pointing to one key factor. He said, "I don't see nobody around that's going to beat Bud unless it's somebody way bigger than him. But don't sleep on the fact that if him and Tank fought at about 145, that's a good damn fight, you understand me? Because they both have very high IQs, and Tank is very explosive. That's the one thing that Tank got that Errol didn't have. In boxing, an explosive fighter can go a lot of places. I was only able to cover the weights that I covered because I was so explosive. Explosiveness keeps people in check." The two American fighters will pursue their paths independently, with Crawford targeting a clash with the super middleweight champion Saul Canelo Alvarez, a bout that would demand a 14-pound weight increase. Meanwhile, Tank is set to face Lamont Roach Jr. in March, before announcing, in his most recent press conference, plans to retire by the year's end. Gervonta Davis undeniably stands out as a boxing mastermind, with a style that warrants thorough analysis. But can we truly say that the Baltimore native has eclipsed Terence Crawford in terms of in-ring prowess? While opinions may vary, including those of artist-turned-commentator Showbiz the Adult, who often draws comparisons between Davis and Floyd Mayweather, he has pointed out specific aspects of Davis's performance that, in his view, surpass those of Crawford. What exactly are these distinguishing traits?
Gervonta Davis speaking about you. Is that ever a possible fight?
Yeah, if he want to dare to be great, he can be like all the other fighters that's moving up 2 weight classes and, daring to be great.
You would fight him.
Man, tell him to come up there.
He got to come to win 54.
He said I got a glass chin, so tell him to come and touch it.
Wow,
oh, man.
Gervonta said you got a glass.
He said I got a glass chin. Tell him to come and touch it.
At 147?
At 147. I'll make 147 for him.
Ooh, see, oh, man.
You're going to have a pre-camp.
Then what the people going to say? Oh, he's beating up on little guys.
According to Showbiz the Adult, Davis possesses the skills to match everything Terence Crawford has showcased in his bouts. To back up this claim, he highlighted Gervonta Davis's knockout of Rolly Romero in 2022. In the waning moments of the 6th round, after landing a slight right hook, an overconfident Romero attempted to press Davis against the ropes. However, with his right leg positioned awkwardly on the outside, Tank capitalized on the opening, landing a powerful left hand while skillfully angling out of danger. So, Showbiz the Adult said, "Tank's a better aggressive fighter than Crawford. He has everything Crawford has. He can box a fighter coming after him." He then referenced the showdown between Davis and Leo Santa Cruz. This time, Davis closed the gap quickly. After pushing Santa Cruz back to the ropes, Davis allowed the former champion to throw a right hand, using the moment to position himself for a left uppercut. In an instant, the punch landed, sending Cruz crashing to the canvas. On that note, Showbiz added, "He can go after you, and he can just box him. He knocks everybody out just like Crawford. But there is something better. Except for, I think Gervonta's chin is slightly better. When Terence Crawford goes out there, he gon' beat you athletic, but there's a certain poise that Gervonta has that I'm like super special," continued Showbiz. "And he has that Floyd Mayweather poise, where he cannot do much but he's beating you mentally. Gervonta Tank Davis approaches the fight better than anyone in the world," he confidently concluded. It is important to note in this regard that Davis had shown interest in taking on Bud. Gervonta Davis casually stated last year that if he squared off against Terence Crawford at 147 pounds, he'd deliver the same fate to Bud as he did to Rolly and Santa Cruz, putting him to sleep in the 6th round. Crawford, in turn, responded by suggesting there was no chance Davis would move up to 147 pounds. Yet, despite dismissing the idea of Davis stepping up in weight, Bud didn't completely shut down the possibility of their fight happening. "I'd stay at 147 pounds for him. That's a big money fight," he told The Breakfast Club. "But nobody's gonna give me credit. Tank's like 5'5", he's a little guy," Crawford had bemoaned. Fans were really interested at this point, so Davis explained that he was merely kidding and had no intention of really facing Bud. So that's all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos.